Hello, beautiful people. I wanted to talk about this that I saw. I was so disappointed. I was hurt, disgusted. These are Jordans for rent at Rent-A-Center. Now, we all know Jordans can be expensive. These don't look like a very new version of the shoe, but I'm not a tennis shoe connoisseur. I have no idea. Really doesn't matter. This is predatory lending. And this is something that we see a lot in our underprivileged communities, unfortunately. These shoes are renting for $19 a week. To say the least, we all know that the interest rate on this is going to be astronomical. And by the time you've had these shoes for, say, about 3 months or so, you could have bought the shoe outright. And just thinking logically, right? If you rent a shoe or any type of clothing, anything like that, what are they going to do with this when the person is done renting it? Are they going to clean it up and continue to rent it? I doubt it. I'm sure there's some type of clause that if there's a certain amount of damage, you're responsible for buying the shoe outright, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's always some type of hold to keep us in a rut. We have this and all types of other predatory lending practices that we deal with on a regular basis, not to mention the food deserts and other things that we're deprived of in our communities. I watched a documentary and it was showing like back in the 50s, 40s and 50s, how they actually studied the buying practices of African Americans. They study us. They know how we operate. They know what we like. They know that we like to look good. Okay, it's inherently in us because of where we come from. I'm not even getting into all of that, but because of who we are, we like to look good. We take pride in ourselves. And that's something that's definitely taken advantage of. Unfortunately, finance is not something that we're taught. It's not something that's even in schools much anymore. There's no economics. There's no budgeting, things of that nature, how to tell you to secure your money and have longevity and generational wealth and how to manage and things of that nature. And this is something that we have to get back to as parents. We have to teach our children because they're not going to be taught this in school. There's nothing wrong with wanting to look good, being fashionable, taking care of yourself. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. However, the problem comes in when our priorities are out of whack. And they know our priorities are out of whack because we're out of whack emotionally and financially, spiritually, and everything else because of what we've been through. We can't expect the same people who put us in this predicament to actually help us get out of it. They're just going to do very, very little piece by piece to look like they're doing something to help us get out of it. We've got to actually become more conscious of what it is we're doing and why we're doing it and get our priorities in order. Sometimes we just have to take a step back and say, in the long run, is this going to be beneficial to me? Is this going to be beneficial to my family? We have to look at the paperwork and see if it's going to be worth it. Are you going to end up paying double, triple, quadruple more for something because of the terms that you have? We have to read the terms in our paperwork and see if it's worth it, because we will be taken advantage of at every turn, every chance they get, because that's just the way it is. It's always been, and that's the way it is. Now, I know what it's like to be in an unfortunate situation and you're just grasping for straws for anything just to feel better about yourself because of the predicament that you may be in. If you're financially stressed and whatnot, you just want to look like you have it. You want to feel like you have it. But sometimes you just have to stop and decide what's best. How can you get yourself out of that predicament so you don't have to continue the cycle? And this is definitely something that continues the cycle. In addition to this, we have the check cashing places, the car title places, it just goes on and on. So yeah, this is just something I saw that was pretty disappointing. The fact that they're taking advantage of us and we're taking the bait. We can get non-name brand shoes. We can get shoes that are made by our own. These are Jordans. However, Jordan does not have very much control over this shoe, this company, or anything like that. But he's making the money, of course. But best believe, if they have anything to do with anything that we have anything to do with, they're coming out with the upper hand. okay? They're not going to do anything for free or anything that's not going to be even more beneficial to them. And this is just something, like I said, I came across that I just wanted to speak on a little bit. I just want us to do better. I want each one to teach one so that the next generation is a step better or even steps ahead of the generation before. And we've got to start somewhere. We got to start in the home because we can't keep asking and begging them, to make changes in our communities because they're benefiting from the demise of our communities. I love you all. Be blessed.